And we're live. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Royston Radio. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 445 UK News Review, and we're going to join you in a moment. So, Peter's in the studio, so I'm going to bring Peter on screen. Morning, Peter.
Morning.
Oh, it's working first time. We've earned that because we've had problems for the last couple of weeks. So. Yeah, that's good. Just hoping that Jon is around somewhere. He's not in the studio. So, how are you anyway?
I'm absolutely roasting because my Tapo app is working well. And it turns off heating, but the place is too hot. So I've turned it off and it's still roasting. But yeah, so you can never win in these little offices. And quite a mild day here in Aberdeen, and so that
we've got a rainy day here in Wiltshire. Temperature one day it's freezing, it's 2 degrees. The next day it's 14 degrees. It's just
well, I was down in Edinburgh on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And when I came back from Edinburgh, I was driving. It's the first time I was driving for a while, that distance, because I don't like it anymore. And the weather was atrocious, you know.
Yeah.
And a 70-mile-an-hour road, I was down to 40 coming up. Wow. It's quite a lot of snow. And then I hit the outskirts of Aberdeen, and it was okay again. So you just got to be careful, you know. I'm glad I had my new tyres purchased.
Yes.
And it just, so that's it. So what about you?
Basically, we went to the garden centre last Sunday, and it was absolutely packed. There were literally, I don't know whether you saw the image on my timeline on Facebook, but there were hundreds and hundreds of cars. I mean, I took a photograph of the Overfield car park, and there were cars, 20 rows of cars at least.
Yeah.
And that's because the garden centre turns itself into a winter wonderland.
Yes.
And you go through a grotto, and then you are faced with more Christmas decorations than you could. Well, yeah, you've got a wide choice of Christmas decorations. It's all about Christmas. It feels like Christmas when you walk through the door. You've got the music playing in the background.
Yeah.
And if you want any Christmas decorations, it's the only place to go. And people come from all around. Yeah.
No,
so
that's what happens with these things. Was there police walking about with rifles?
No, there weren't. Not at all. This is a Wiltshire event. We are respectful of each other, and it doesn't need rifles. It just needs a few burly guys on the door.
I've seen a few videos in different cities, and they're saying, "Why are you walking about?" Oh, it's just normal, they said. And they said, "No, it's not. No, it's not." And they're scared to go deeper because traditionally we didn't have people with machine guns walking about.
No. Airports,
that's fine. But in the United Kingdom, 2 policemen walking about, probably more, with their machine gun, and with a gun, you've got your finger like that on the trigger. What's that all about? What has it come to? You know? Now, I'll tell you one thing that it got me. You know this winter allowance for the old age pensioners, the £300. I do believe Scotland are getting it in some way, and that's from the Scottish government. I think are going to be giving it. But you know, we need it up here for these pensioners, you know, because it's much colder than it is in England.
That's right. Yeah, well, you just said you've been through.
Yeah, and it just hit me because Sheila's a pensioner, and she's watching, telling me to have to cut things down and that. And a year and a half, I'll be a pensioner, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you get 300 quid each, but probably get it per household, I'm not sure. But it just, I see it just shows that people need it. And that would be, so what do you think is going to happen this week with his big, what do you call it, reschedule?
Well, he's going to announce it today, isn't he? A relaunch of. I think the thing is that what we're actually waiting for. I haven't got Jon's camera yet. I've got Jon in the studio, no camera. Yeah. What we're waiting for, and what everybody wants to know, is things are getting better. Not what's going to happen in 2029. The election is so far away; it doesn't matter. What we're interested in is what's happening, aren't we? Yeah. I think it's going to get better in the next 12 months or so. So putting these targets up is just, as far as I'm concerned, it just doesn't mean anything.
Do you know, if there's one thing that I detest now, how long have they been in government?
5 months.
5 months. They don't need to tell us about when the Tories were in power. We know that. You don't have to keep repeating that. What are you going to do now and for the future? Don't look past in anger. We know that's why you're in government. Don't keep telling us.
Yeah, so that's the simple fact that they're in government because they were elected, and they were elected to a certain number of things, and they've just got to get on with it. I mean, the thing is that we don't know. We probably know about 10% of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're doing things in the background, like the railways. The first 3 companies are going to be brought to public ownership again. But again, we're not too worried about that. We want to know what's going to happen practically on the rail. Is the services going to improve? Are prices going to go down? Now, I said this week that it will improve the service because it'll be disjointed, but there's no guarantee of any price changes at all. So we're not going to feel it. We won't feel it. If the train's doing it, we'll know, but we won't feel it in our pockets. We won't pay any less.
How's another thing? What was I talking about? It's went past my mind.
So it's beginning. You're getting close to being a pensioner. You tend to forget things as you get older. I notice it, not now, but you will notice it. Jon,
there he is.
Right. He was down below the desk. Good morning, Jon.
Hello. I was unplugging and replugging my camera.
Okay, and it's working now.
Yes, well, unfortunately, I must remove XSplit because XSplit's the blooming problem. It loses your camera. Good morning, everybody. Been having a few technical issues the last 2 days, and I've got a Virgin Media engineer coming between 12 and 4 today.
Okay, well, good. Yeah. We've got some good news. Our neighbour next door has opened their. Sorry, it's in the hand, Peter.
No, you can't.
Our neighbour has had open reach around this week, so there's a possibility we might be able to get better internet, but I'm not going to put any money on it.
All right.
Sorry. Right, Peter, it's over to you.
Yeah. So for the younger listeners, if there's younger listeners, something I'd like to point out. So the government keeps saying, but you were in power. You were the problem. Let me cast it for them. When the Tories got in and Labour had been running the country, the Chancellor of the Exchequer said, best of luck. There's nothing left in the kitty. Who did they think?
You're going back 14 years.
Sorry?
You're going back 14 years now, Peter.
Yeah, but it's still the same You thought it was funny to laugh when you left the no money in the budgets, no money in the coffers. Where was the money? So,
Yeah.
So just if I was an MP or something, I'd say, oh, yes, I'll take that on the chin. But remember when you were last time. Ta-da! Now, in Parliament, the Prime Minister basically said there were 2 convicted people. Should he apologise? Because they were not convicted people. They got a fine during the pandemic.
There is a difference between getting a fine and being to say, yes, I think he should apologise. John?
Surely if you're being fined, you've been convicted. You've got to be found guilty before you can be punished, surely.
Yeah, but it's a civil fine as such. Yeah. But hey, Sir Keir, wink, wink, lucky you had a lady in waiting who didn't last long, by the way. The same lady that oversaw Boris's thing and then got a job immediately after. And remember, I don't know if she was involved in your case when you were seen eating sandwiches or a Chinese or whatever it is and drinking.
After 5 months in power as opposed to 14 years, I've got to say from my point of view, it's refreshing that things are actually getting done. We're getting told more than we were before. As I said earlier, I don't believe in 5-year targets. I mean, that pie in the sky stuff. What we want to know is what's going to happen over the next few months. Yeah, not in 2029, far away. Literally too far away. Yeah, but
well,
I mean, you're talking about Ms. Haig. It's just one person, and there are 342 Labour MPs. So you're bound to get a rotten egg somewhere when you've got that many MPs. But it's not an excuse for me.
Why are they putting them in as ministers when he knew about that fraud?
If you lie on your CV, right? Okay, we think we've got problems though, Peter. What about France? France have
South Korea.
I will make
got real problems too.
Who?
South Korea.
Yes, South Korea, yeah. But let's deal with France. I predict that Marine Le Pen will be the Prime Minister. Because they can only do so much jiggery-pokery to make sure she doesn't get in, like having alliances. Their alliances don't work.
no.
And as many countries have had excuse me, there's many countries had enough now, and it all boils down to immigration. Illegal immigration. Have you ever seen the state of France in their streets? It's shocking. In Paris.
Barnier's government were going to bring in 60 billion euros worth of cuts. 60 billion euros. That's worse than it got here, and that's why the other right-wing parties sort of said, no, you're not going to do that. The thing is that financially, France is in shock. It's got to pay every year. It's got to pay 40 billion in interest on what it owes. So it's 40 billion before it actually pays for any service at all.
Do you know? I actually understand, Ophelia. You know that my business at the moment, right, is it's not been the best year. I've had to make cuts, and boy, am I! I mean, even this week, I made a saving of £1,500 a year, because probably more than that. It's about 2,000. Because one, I gave a system up that I used for health and safety I've got another one that's incorporated with a piece of software I'm already using. One. I've now changed my store, which was costing me about $3,500 a year, to $199 a year. And everything every day I look at something else to try and reduce costs. However, I went to a meeting with you and my now finished mentor. We went and had lunch with his other clients, and we met a guy that his job was to go in and streamline companies. He says you can only get rid of so many people. He said, but once you've got the people you have, he put in new systems, right? Like I have done, and it's made a big difference. I'm just coming to the end of it. I've got one system. We can put out letters on it. We can put out invoices on it. We can put out treatment reports on it. We can send a health and safety on it. And we can put in our contract customers and tell us when to date. Now, that may sound to some of the viewers and listeners quite simple, but I'm from the old stock. We're from the mole catching industry. I don't do moles, actually. And so that's what I've done. His job was to go in, use software, etc., to stream it. I can't do much more savings now, you know.
Right.
But I have done. This is the last bit, and I'll let you can. I went on to something called Google Guaranteed. It wasn't working for a year, and eventually got it fixed, and that is bringing me in most of the money just now.
Good.
And
yeah.
Google guarantee me up to £1,500 in a dispute. You've got to have a lot of, what do you call it, reviews, or some X amount of reviews. And it's working well for me, touch wood, because that's where calls are coming from at this point in time. So that's what I'm doing at this particular time.
Right. I'm still broadcasting. I broadcast every Wednesday from live, which is the system we're on at the moment. I'm quite enjoying that. I mean, basically every week I get a different topic. I research for a day, and then I go live and talk about it. And I'm glad to say that people are watching and listening, and always going well. So that's my focus for the week. Amazon a couple of times a week, Monday and Friday. Of course, there's Scangelica and Blabbing for Britain, and yeah. But other things on the whole are going well.
Credit to you for doing it. You've kept going. Not like me. If I don't get it in a week, I'm not happy. John, have you anything to say?
Yeah, well, I'm sort of closing everything down if I'm doing anything. I've told, apart from my one customer that I've been working with for the best part of 20 years, I've told everybody else I'm retiring on the 23rd of December. So I've been getting rid of everybody.
Right.
I've got I've updated to a new server. You might think, hang on, why are you having a new server? But things have got so much cheaper on the server front. I'm replacing a server that cost me £138 a month with a small server that's going to cost me, that's including that, by the way, the small server that's going to cost me just over £35 a month, and it's got more memory and a faster processor. Other than that, everything's the same. Yeah. I've had the more expensive one for 5 years, so it's just keeping up with the times, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm moving some things onto there, but basically, not much to say on that front. I'm looking forward to having more time for myself, spending more time with my granddaughter and all that stuff.
Good for you. Don't get bored.
I won't get bored. I've got lots of things to do. Anyway, granddaughters don't let you get bored, Peter. I can assure you.
Yeah.
She's not 5 yet. She's 5 in February.
Yeah.
Proper little, well, proper grown-up girl at 4.5 or whatever it is. Unfortunately, I've got some sad news. The guy from just up on one plotter across the road from here sadly passed away, and he's younger than me.
Well,
And Pete was a big fella, yeah, and we always used to joke that his stomach arrived 15 minutes before him, and sadly he's died of liver cancer. So
yeah.
we didn't, we knew something was wrong because we haven't seen a lot of him for the last couple of months. Turned out that he was given 6 months and only lasted 4 months.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
I mean, if ever we don't actually need work, the reminder is to live for today. You've got to live in the moment, and that's why this means nothing to me. I'm more worried. Or not worried. I want this week to go well. I want Christmas to go well. I want my 72nd next year to go well. I want to be there to celebrate it. The goals are different. The goals are. You realise at some point that you control most of the things. You can control your fitness, but you can't control unexpected events. And the only way to deal with it is to say, right, let's make to every single moment and every single day.
Well, my Sheila is a very fit person for her age, 70 and a half. But boy, did I get scared through the night. She was up and back pain at the back, and she never gets anything. And she never asked me for anything. She said, could you go and get my painkillers, please? And I done that during the night, and then I got some Aralgex, deep heat stuff put in. Yeah. And why is this coming all of a sudden? And I'm terrified. I really am. And that's why it's some people get told something and they're going to end it, and it happens quite a lot now, so it is scary. But why don't we talk about something cheesy?
Well, you talked about your partner. I hope Angelica as well. Celia's legs got to the point now that she's been given a blue badge.
Right.
So, because her legs are, well, they just don't really work properly. Yeah. And on Saturday, the very day she got her blue badge, her legs went from underneath her. And what we heard was a yell, and Phil and I went and found her lying on the floor, stuck between the settee, the TV, and the radiator.
Yeah.
So,
So that blue badge will really be for you to use for her?
She can still drive, Peter.
Okay.
She never ever went very far anyway,
Right. Because I used to, what I'm like, I'm quite argumentative. You could actually go and sit in a blue badge and wait for people to come over, and say, "Oi, why are you parked here? Film it for me. That would be fun." You ever seen that blue badge parking wall?
Just to extend this thing about parking in handicapped space, I was going into Lidl, pushing my trolley, because the trolleys are in the middle of the car park. They're not by the store entrance.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, and this is like 8 o'clock at night, and there's this driving instructor with a pupil reversing into a space. And then I look at it and I think, but that's a handicapped space. Yeah. So I said to her, don't you think you should be teaching your pupil proper? Because they both got out the car to go into the store. Yeah. I said, are you teaching her the right thing? Are you a proper? I mean, they had driving instructor badges and a school name and everything all over the car. And she said, well, what's it to you? So I got my camera out and I took a photograph of the car.
Yes.
Stood next to it. And then she said, I'll move it. And she moved it into the main car park. Yeah. It's just disgusting.
Do you know, there's another guy that I watch on the internet. Well, I used to. He's called the Car Park Cart Narc. And he dresses up. And know these people that take their shopping to their car and just abandon it and not take it back to where they go. He chases them and everything. And he embarrasses him. He nearly gets into, folk threaten to hit him and everything, all because they wouldn't take it back. And but that's the stupid things I like in life. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you a more serious one. There's a chap I watch, he's an Iranian, and he goes to all these marches and things like that. He's going to wait to become a Catholic, actually. And he keeps getting moved on by the police. But what came out yesterday, they were going to arrest him at his house, but he refused to go in, and then nothing happened. Then someone within the police has sent him stuff that someone within the police have put out on social media and put his name, address, and put his life at threat. So that's quite big news now, just now. And that's Metropolitan Police. And someone within the Met has leaked all his information. That will be found. And his life's already in danger because somebody tried to kidnap him, you know, and he was, I think he came here with his dad or something like that. I think his dad's still over there. But it's getting very dangerous that people within the police are leaking things. We don't like him because he shows them up. And it's very, yeah.
Is this published online?
Yes.
Okay, so they're naming and shaming people. Does it say why?
Because people within the Met don't like him. Now, we've yet to find who it is. He goes to the pro-Palestine rallies and films them, right? They hate him. They hate him for who he is. Meyer Tusi is his name. He's got more people watching him in Sky and BBC put together, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he just tells it how it is. He shows up certain two-tier policing, right? Because there's an Iranian guy keeps getting arrested as well for the slightest thing. Now, luckily, they film it.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets admonished each time. But the police on the day arrest him any chance they get. And it shows up the tour, and the Met do not like it. Now, somebody within the Met is going to get caught, whoever leaked it, his address, because he's got death threats every day. So this is the problem with the internet at the moment. Doxing, it's called. Doxing,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
John, what is doxing?
Sorry?
What is doxing? D-O-X-I-N-G?
Oh, who knows this week?
It's D-O-X-X-I-N-G. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Doxing. It's where they give out your name and address. And one guy I watch, he says this girl.
It's a search for and publish private or identifying information about a particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent.
Yeah. There's another guy.
It can be spelt with 1 or 2 X's.
Thank you.
Well, there was another guy who won a military cross, and people went against him, accused him of so many things and got stalked. But he had great pleasure the other week going up, I think it was to Newcastle, because they traced who this lady was, one of them. She's starting with her, and she was in court, and she was basically pleading for mercy because he tracked her down and took her to court. Because it cost him a lot of money, cost him friendships, and then of what you're saying, and then other people piled on. Now, unfortunately for the people piled on, he's got their IP addresses as well. He said, "You're first, and then I'm going to take you all one at a time." Interesting.
It is, yeah. Disturbing and interesting. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, closer to home, we've invested in new mattresses this week. First time in 12 years. And they are just absolutely. I've had the best night's sleep for the last 3 nights I've had in years, just because we've replaced the mattresses. Yeah, I mean the original mattresses were okay, but it's only when you get. I'm going to do the advertising here. It's only when you get an Emma mattress that you realise what a really good mattress is.
Okay. Have you been to Lidl to buy them then?
No, they are German.
Lidl have been selling them as part of their Black Friday deals. We went and looked at them, but Phil decided he couldn't afford one.
Well, they are £700. The version that we got. So yes, it is quite an investment. But when you think a mattress can last you for 8 to 10 years, or 12 in our case, then it's a sound investment because you're investing in a good night's sleep. Unfortunately, today we can report that we're both happy with it. So
very good. Just quick little story about mattresses. About 5 minutes down the road from me and my vehicle, we've got a factory that makes beds, and if you sleep in the Caledonian Sleeper, the beds are in there, made there. Yeah. And if you go into North Sea ferries, they're made there. And do you know who they're made by? Blind people.
Oh.
It's blind people. I've been in watching them make them. Yeah. Boy, they're good. They know every bit. They just stand there and watch their fingers and everything. And it's good to see. I've forgotten the name of them. But yeah.
Well, our mattress journey started at the Premier Inn because they do their own. They sell the mattresses that you use in a Premier Inn.
All right.
And they're £850 each, but you get a really good night's sleep. If you stop at a Premier Inn, you get a really good night's sleep because they pay attention to the quality of the bed.
Yeah,
that's what started the journey.
So we bought a single mattress, or rather Phil bought a single mattress. We only paid £120 for it, although it was quite a decent mattress for a single bed, because he doesn't plan to stay in the single bed too long, because the single bed was previously Alice's, and I stripped it down and waxed it all up, and it looked pretty good, and so he bought £120 there, but he's hoping to get his double bed soon. So yeah, we have a company called Tender Sleep who manufacture beds in Tyseley, which used to be on the other side of the road from Catering Equipment Limited when they were based in Tyseley. We couldn't afford to buy a bed there. Very expensive, people. Yeah. I think that's because they really don't want to be seen to undercutting the people who sell their beds in the general marketplace.
Yeah.
But they do have a shop on site.
Yeah, if you can build something that is of premium quality that people are willing to pay more for, then you basically making yourself recession proof, aren't you? Because irrespective of what happens, people will still want your beds or whatever you're making for the quality. Quality counts.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
More like that's why sometimes we go to Marks and Spencer's, because you're going to get quality in the food there.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now let's talk about food. As you know, the farmers are not happy because they're going to be getting their tax with inheritance. But what else are they not? What else is going to hit them now? Can you tell me?
Avian flu.
No. John?
Oh yes, it is.
Well, avian flu has got now that if you've got any chickens, you have to register them. You used to have a flock of 50 before.
Yeah, we're registered.
Yeah.
Sorry, what is it, Peter?
It's Bovier being injected into the camels for the methane reduction. And I went over to the big T, well, it's Tesco, I went in to see it, and they're writing off all the Lurpak and anything to do with Arla. That's the name of the company that puts it in. It's all sitting there gathering cobwebs.
But it's only at certain farms that they're doing this experiment.
It's a trap, but several things. Arla are in fact a cooperative of UK farmers. Yeah. So it's UK farmers that are doing this, not a corporate somewhere in the sky that's marketing. It's the actual farmers themselves. And the second thing is that there's nothing in it, right? They wouldn't feed a cow something which is going to kill the cow.
Yeah.
Would they? It doesn't make sense. It's not economic sense. There is nothing in the milk when it's been processed which affects us. Nothing at all. So in terms of, I hope John will agree with me on this, this is a story where they're not where the people who are complaining are not explaining everything. And there was an article in The Guardian yesterday which laid out, which I read, which laid out exactly what this is all about. And I would suggest that anybody who's protesting against this actually wants to go and read The Guardian.
Well, somebody somewhere has got the message all wrong then, over.
Oh, yeah. Everybody agrees on that.
A disaster.
Arla is a European organisation, by the way. It's not just UK farmers. It's actually a Danish-Swedish-led organisation.
So,
but what they're trying to do is stop the amount of gases in the farts. And we understand, if you read the stuff, that has no effect on the milk whatsoever.
Yeah.
However,
it reduces, before you do, Peter, it reduces the CO2 released by cattle by 40 to 70%.
Yeah.
Now, we, as far as going green is concerned and saving the planet, reducing CO2 is one of the main aims of governments around the world. One of the biggest contributors is cows.
Right. Now, here's the thing. If something was being put into something you didn't like, would you not know about it for sure, 100%? So, stunned. So what they were doing is saying the product here is using UK cows and they're putting Bovie in it. Your choice if you buy it.
But it's only in 30 farms.
Yeah. You know who they are. They need to know who they are. Doesn't matter. Because if you're putting something in, people should know where it's coming from. Traceable. Everything traceable. We use, this is vegan and this is non-vegan. What do you want to buy? Your choice. And unfortunately, they've made a bad choice in that message because it's hitting them big time just now. I went over to
it's hitting them big time because of idiots who keep making stupid claims.
Well, this happens all the time.
The average man in the street just listens to the idiots and doesn't find out what's really happening. Yeah,
well, that's the same. Say the same with just oil type people.
But they're definitely idiots.
They're idiots because it's a small minority, it's a really small, but we're all going to suffer from them, you know. And people just want to know what's in their food. They've got to put it. Yeah.
All are published what's in the food. They haven't hidden anything. The chemicals that are being used we've been told what they are. Yeah. There's nothing hidden.
Is it on the packet? Is it when I'll do a delivery check, I'll look up every other, and if it should tell me Boviers in the part in the system.
No, it doesn't tell you on a bottle of milk or a carton of milk what the cows were fed. Just doesn't. It's not an ingredient. It doesn't actually end up well. Right. Okay. The problem we have in this day and age is misinformation, and that we don't know what's true. We don't know what to believe. We don't know who to believe. Do we believe Labour? Do we believe the Conservatives, or do we believe the Lib Dems?
Well, listen to me, because I'm usually right.
Right. Speaking of Dems, that was it. That was a segue. Angelica and I, you know that the Lib Dems got 72 MPs elected in this Parliament, which is the largest number ever. And Ed Davey is on a celebration tour. Now, our MP used to be Conservative, but he's now Lib Dem, Mr. Matthews. And Ed Davey is in Melksham tomorrow, which is about 10 miles away from us. And Angelica and I are going to spend an afternoon in the company of Ed Davey, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay. What sort of activity are you doing with him? Are you going down shoot at a kiddie park?
It's basically in a public room, and it is meet Ed Davey. Simple as that. Bring
a pillow, he'll put you to sleep.
No, he won't. He's going to go hang gliding before, and then he's going to go. He's going to drive he's going to do everything. He'll come in by helicopter, jump from the helicopter with a parachute. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he'll arrive by car in Melksham. Yeah, he doesn't need to do the stunts anymore, does he? Mind you, his latest stunt, I think, has backfired. Because he got together with the choirs in Bath, or is it Bristol, to actually release a single to go into the charts at Christmas. And the question is, should the leader of a British political party be involved in the entertainment industry whilst they're leading? Should he have recorded the song, Peter?
I don't see any harm in it. I was watching it this morning. He's just trying to get involved with the community. You're probably surprised at me saying that, because this is what people don't know. In the Houses of Parliament, there are people who are different parties. They've actually got a group that they sing with together. No, playing guitars and everything. And what he's got to watch is he's not to be seen to be doing too much jollies and having fun. He needs to get really involved with Parliament, and basically when he gets the chance to attack the opposition, question the opposition, get as much out of them as they can, embarrass the opposition and stuff like that. He's got 72 members there. He's got to do that. And there'll be people within the Liberal Party. No, he's not doing that again, is he?
That's exactly what's happening, Peter. Exactly what's happening. It's the Lib Dems are actually saying he shouldn't be doing it, not just the general public. Yeah, I mean, he has been serious this week. He's been in Parliament and he's been promoting proportional representation. And for the first time since I can remember, people are listening. And certainly Reform are listening.
Yeah.
For very good reason that they want it. Conservatives with 121 MPs, they would like it too.
Yeah.
Because if it had been proportional representation in the last election, then we'd have a hung Parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the 342 Labour MPs. So he is doing the serious stuff as well. It's just whether he should actually be involved in the entertainment industry.
I think he should stick to being a leader at the moment. We all know he said he's better fun. And if anything goes wrong in some way, then that's a problem for him,
Yeah.
Have you heard of Christine Jordan?
No.
Wow. I've actually met her.
Remind me.
Christine Jordan, a Liberal in Scotland.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. She's always on the television when it comes, and She gets a lot of airtime in England as well, you know, in the mainstream TV. Any chance get? I happened to be in her constituency the other day, but she's also a good friend of a lady that I know up here who's a Liberal as well. But she used to be a BBC news presenter out in the field, and then she declared that she was a Liberal, and so that was that. But what was the major news with reform this week? Can you tell me, John?
No idea.
Another MP. Another MP.
Well, he's not
really politics.
Tim Montgomery. Have you heard that name?
Conservative Home.
Yeah, he's the guy that was with Maggie Thatcher and everything, and one of the spies and stuff like that. He's went over to reform.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what has surprised me in my area. They've done an infographic of what could happen. And it looks as in my area, it's going to be reform.
Oh.
Which kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
It kind of, wow. That, because traditionally in the northeast of Scotland, not in the city, they were Conservatives or SNP.
Yeah.
But they went for reform. I think if they don't sell themselves, I think that the Conservative Party are on for a hiding the next time.
But,
given Kerry Badenoch's performance at question time, which is the only time we get to see her, I can understand why the Conservatives would disappear, because she still thinks she's in power. She really does. And she doesn't understand that in opposition, you don't, well, never mind, doesn't matter. It's not a good watch. I mean, I used to watch Question Time on Sky. I don't watch it anymore. It's not worth it. It's not intelligent debate. I mean, give it Rishi Sunak when he was on with Keir Starmer. That was informational and entertaining at the same time. Not necessarily for the right reasons, but at least it wasn't.
I gave it up. I used to be religiously on a Thursday night when it was at David Dimbleby, what his name was. I religiously had that on at the time. Religiously. I gave up years ago. It's quite surprising. I am kind of weaning myself off of politics now. There's nothing I can do.
Oh yeah, I mean, let's go from politics. Let's go to television. Who's watched I'm a Celebrity?
Oh.
Right, so none of us have watched I'm a Celebrity. That has jumped the shark. It's past its sell-by date, and we don't miss watching it. You still get the headlines in the papers, though. But one thing that I have watched over the years, since 2007, I think, is the cookery program with Greg Wallace. And you basically, he has so described him this week, and they were talking about the basic reason for the problem, and they put it in a nutshell. He allegedly thinks he's God's gift.
Correct. But so do I don't know if you know about hotels, but chefs can be bullies within there.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to work with a head chef.
He's Britain's most famous greengrocer. He's not a chef.
Yeah, well, or the barrel boy and all these things. And I know my son's a chef, and it's got a bad reputation. If you see chefs are the ones that move jobs the most. But he did become cocky. I personally didn't like his style. And if he has been pinching bottoms and stuff like that, but I'm going to tell you something that happened to me 2 weeks ago. I don't know if I mentioned this. And I thought, wait a minute. I was in a pub and there was a big person come in, a black person, a woman, but we were all trying to work out if it was a woman. That was the pub were going to come up and done a few songs and everything. Then approached me, and I was in a little corner. Come up to me, much taller than me, looked down at me, opened her bra, took them out and put on my face. And I got embarrassed. I said, away you go. Because I'm saying, this better not be a transgender. I'll tell you that. Next thing, they threw the person out. And I thought, wait, what if the tables had been turned? What if I'd been talked to somebody and rubbed myself up against them like that? I could still go and get that film and say, right, do that person. I'm not going to. But that's a situation that I was in. Some people were disgusted, some people had a laugh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. I bet it took you a few minutes to recover. It's not the sort of thing that happens every day.
I couldn't go back any further, and I was going like this. Go away, get away. And it was actually embarrassing. Usually I'm okay for a laugh and a bit. And I asked quite a few people, I says, is that a man or a woman? And the bouncers, they're black guys, and that's definitely a man. And then the DJ says, 100% a woman. I couldn't make it out. But that's what happened, you know. And that was, as far as I'm concerned, sexual assault. Because I wouldn't get away with that.
No, that's true. That's true. If you'd reacted badly.
I went into a shoe shop in Aberdeen, shut down now. And the manager, a bloke who owned it, the way he spoke to the woman sexually, I sit there after, he didn't know this. I says, I just watched what happened there. Here's my card. Yeah. You ever need me as a witness, you've got me. Because she was a manageress as well, and she ran a shop. And I thought, wow. I said, here's my card. Give me a phone if you need me. And she never ever did phone me. But that's what's happening. It's difficult. Very, very difficult, you know. Just you should never have done it in front of me either. I was embarrassed for her. Right.
Right. Okay. We follow that. I think the only way we can actually follow that is with the football news. John?
Oh, yeah, the Villa one. But the most exciting thing is Chelsea is second.
Yeah, true. And City won. They're on the way back. That was just a blip. Liverpool had a draw. They're still top of the league. And Burnley, where Burnley, John? Burnley are second in Championship. And we're chuffed about that because we're doing rather well. I think we've got the team together, got the right manager in the right place, and long may it continue. But as I said at the beginning of the season, we want to finish 7th. Thank you. And we'll stay in the Championship in the year after. That would make a lot of sense. Okay. Now, strangely enough, I was listening to cricket this morning. Waking up, I was listening to Radio 5 Live Sports and the cricket in Brisbane. And the Australian ladies were playing the Indian ladies. And it was amazing because I listened to the second innings and they were chasing a total of 101 for the Australians, and they got it. Fascinating. And you get used to most things you've got to see. Okay, if you go to a football match, try and listening to a football match on the radio, frustrating. Listening to a cricket match on the radio, though, is not, because you've got the commentators, you've got the action, and if you know the layout of a cricket field and you know that one went to square leg, then you know exactly where the ball's going. So you can visualize it. You can visualize a cricket match. You can't visualize a football match because it's so fast moving. I mean, test match special on the radio is an institution, British institution. People sending cake to the team who are doing the presenting. They get cakes all through the summer, sent in by fans. So if you yeah,
I'd rather go to prison.
well, I can't eat cake. I'm not supposed to.
I know. Hey, listen, have you seen my TikTok videos yet?
What's right? No, I haven't. It's a straightforward answer. I don't go on TikTok. I do, however, these watch Facebook Reels, but I don't go on TikTok.
I've started doing facts about bed bugs and that dreary voice with creepy background music. Starting to see people are starting to like it, and I'm going to go down and give 10 facts and then move on to another insect, and 10 facts about bed bugs.
Why aren't you repeating them on Facebook?
Peter, that's getting close to ASMR.
Yes, yeah. So I'll maybe do that one. I'll share it to Facebook.
I know anything about it, of course, but
yeah, no. I just wondered if you'd seen them going out, but I am getting some people. Not a lot, but you've got to post 4 times a day. I'm told by this. So I've just got Moondog likes me just now. I'll have a look at him, and yeah.
Well, I'm totally enjoying my time on Blue Sky, which is a social network, which is growing. It's gone from 15 million to 25 million in the space of 3 weeks. The thing I love about it is that I can take a YouTube video link, put it in a post on Blue Sky, and the video plays without anybody leaving Blue Sky, which means that people are starting to watch my YouTube videos on Blue Sky, and I'm getting extra viewers. That's because good. They don't have to go to YouTube. They just watch it whilst they're surfing Blue Sky.
Yeah, well, a lot of people watch videos X. I've got a guy that I watch that goes about. He's got beautiful scenery. He's actually stopped kind of, and well, he still annoys people, but he knows the law. But he goes up into these beautiful places. He was outside King's Cross the other day at the big hotel there. And they couldn't get him. They couldn't stop him. But the videos are stunning and they're 4K. And a lot of people love the videos, you know. But it is funny as well. But he knows how to wind them up, you know. It was that bad with the transport policeman. It took 3 videos over 3 nights. And he kept threatening to arrest him. But he just beat him with the law. He slaughtered him. And the policeman had to walk away. So it's quite interesting, and because they don't know the laws.
No.
And, yeah. No. So if you ever get arrested by the police, make sure they know what section you're getting arrested for, etc., etc. Because a lot of them try the section 43, but they say 44 or something like that, which doesn't exist anymore, and that's a technicality as well.
Right. My talking about my feelings are with a gentleman who lives by the seaside, and he bought himself. He spent £230 on a new drone, the DJI drone, and he flew it for the first time. He went up, and he got attacked by seagulls, and very quickly it descended back to earth and smashed to bits. So when I mean, that's worse than gambling. Sending up a drone and being attacked by seagulls. John, it's over to you.
Good God, is it that time already? Well, the sun's attempting to shine in Solihull. I don't know what the weather's like in Aberdeen, Peter.
It's still a good day, not bright. Well, it's not sunshine.
And they're forecasting heavy rain after 12 o'clock. So it's goodbye from... sorry, I forgot to ask. How's the weather in Wiltshire?
Grey skies overhead, John.
Yeah, we've got grey skies, but the sun is trying to force its way through. So it's goodbye from my friend in Wiltshire, goodbye from my friend in Scotland, in the northeast, in Aberdeen, and it's goodbye from me in the West Midlands. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Very good.
No, it should be out in a second.